If your last name is on this list, you don't just have Irish blood. You have royal blood, the blood of the high kings who ruled this island for 1,000 years before the English ever set foot on it. And your surname is the proof, hiding in plain sight your whole life. 10 Irish surnames. And if you carry one of these names in Boston, in Sydney, in Liverpool, or anywhere the Irish were scattered, you already know your name is Gaelis. What you might not know is which king it comes from. Because these aren't ordinary names. Every one of them begins with O or Mac, grandson of, son of, and the person they're the grandson of was a king. A real one. Stay until number 1, because that name belongs to the man who united Ireland, broke the Vikings, and died winning the most famous battle in Irish history. And if it's your name, his blood is yours. Number 10. McCarthy. From Mac Carthay, son of Carthach. The McCarthys were the great kings of the South, the senior line of the Eoganacht, the dynasty that ruled the kingdom of Munster from the Rock of Cashel for centuries before anyone else got near the throne. When their grip finally weakened, a rival family rose up and took the kingship of Munster from them, and we'll get to that family at number 1 because the McCarthys never forgot it. They held on in the South as kings of Desmond, in what's now Cork and Kerry, long after the rest of Gaelic Ireland was falling. If your name is McCarthy, your blood comes from the oldest royal dynasty in the south of Ireland, the kings who sat on Cashel when it was the seat of power for the whole province. Number 9. O'Donnell. From O'Domhnaill, descendant of Domhnall. The O'Donnells were the kings of Tyrconnell, modern Donegal, in the far northwest, and for centuries they were the great rival and great ally of the O'Neills, the two royal houses that ruled the north of Ireland between them. The most famous of them was Red Hugh O'Donnell, who was kidnapped by the English as a teenager to break his family, locked in Dublin Castle, and escaped, and came home to lead his people in the last great war for Gaelic Ireland. When that war was lost, it was an O'Donnell who sailed away beside the O'Neill in the moment that ended the Old World, and we'll come back to that, because it's the wound at the center of this whole story. If your name is O'Donnell, your blood comes from the warrior kings of the Northwest who fought the English crown to the very last. Number 8. Kennedy. And before you think it, yes, that Kennedy, the president, the dynasty, the most famous Irish-American family there's ever been. But the name is far older than Massachusetts. It comes from O'Sinaide. And here's the part that should stop a Kennedy cold. The name comes from Cyneitig, and Cyneitig was the father of Brian Boru himself. The first man to actually carry the name O'Kennedy was Boru's own nephew. The Kennedys are Dal Gicais, the royal tribe of Clare and Limerick, the same blood as the High King, who's sitting at number 1 on this list. So when an American Kennedy talks about Camelot, about an American royal family, they're reaching for something their own bloodline already had 1,000 years ago in Ireland. If your name is Kennedy, you come from the kin of the greatest High King Ireland ever produced. If your names come up already, do me a favor and subscribe to Blame Your Ancestors right now, because the deeper into this list we go, the bigger the crown gets. And the last 5 names are kings, whose blood is carried by millions of people who have no idea they're carrying it. Number 7. Kavanagh. From Caomhanach, and this one is pure Leinster royalty. The Kavanaghs descend from the McMurrows, the kings of Leinster, the royal house of the entire southeast of Ireland. And the most notorious of them changed the course of Irish history forever. Diarmait McMurrow, king of Leinster, was driven out of his kingdom, and to get it back, he did something no one ever forgave. He invited the Normans into Ireland. That single decision opened the door to 800 years of English involvement in Irish affairs, and it earned him a nickname that stuck for centuries, Diarmait of the Foreigners. If your name is Kavanagh, Your blood carries the kings of Leinster and the most fateful invitation ever sent in Irish history. Number 6. O'Connor. From O'Conchapare, descendant of Conchapar, the royal house of Connaught in the west. And the O'Connors hold a title no other family on this list can claim. Rory O'Connor, Ruaidhri. O'Conchapare was the last High King of Ireland. The last one. It was during his reign that the Normans landed, and the old Gaelic High Kingship never recovered. Here's the thread that ties this whole list together. When MacMurrough of Leinster made his grab for power, it was Rory O'Connor, the High King, who led the army against him and drove him out of Ireland. So the man at number 7 and the man at number 6 are two halves of the same story. The king who let the Normans in and the last High King who tried to stop him. If your name is O'Connor, your bloodline holds the very end of the line of native High Kings, the last man to claim the kingship of all Ireland before the Gaelic order began to fall. Number 5. O'Neill. From O'Neill, and this is the big one, the name that sits at the root of Irish royalty more than almost any other. The O'Neills descend from Niall of the Nine Hostages, the king of Tara who founded the Uí Néill, the most powerful dynasty in all of early Ireland, the family that dominated the north and the High Kingship for 500 years. Niall's blood is so widespread that geneticists found his genetic signature in roughly 1 in 5 men across the northwest of Ireland and in millions of men worldwide. There's a real chance that if you're an O'Neill, you carry a marker in your DNA that traces back 1,500 years to a single legendary king. The O'Neills carried the Red Hand of Ulster, and they were the last Gaelic dynasty standing when the Tudors came. Hugh O'Neill, the great Earl of Tyrone, fought Queen Elizabeth's armies for 9 years and nearly drove the English out of Ireland completely. If your name is O'Neill, your blood is the blood of Tara, the oldest royal line in Ireland and the last one to fall. If you're still watching, you already know your name means more than you were ever told. Hit subscribe and stay with me, because the last 4 kings on this list end in the moment the crown was lost and the bloodline got on a boat. Number 4. Kelly. From O'Seeley, descendant of Sealach, and it's one of the most common surnames in all of Ireland, which means royal blood is more common than people think. The Kellys, the O'Kellys, were the lords and kings of Uí Main, a great territory across what's now Galway and Roscommon in the west. Sealach, the root of the name, is thought to mean bright-headed or warrior. The O'Kellys ruled Uí Main for centuries as one of the principal royal families of Connaught, sending their chiefs to stand beside the High Kings. If your name is Kelly, and there are millions of you, your blood is far more likely to be royal than you ever guessed, because the kings of Uí Main left a very large family behind. Number 3. O'Sullivan. From O'Swilleabhain, and these were the lords of the deep southwest, the Beara Peninsula in Cork and Kerry, one of the great families of the Old Munster Kingdom, alongside the McCarthys. The most famous of them, Donal Cam O'Sullivan Bear, fought the English to the bitter end, and when his stronghold at Dunboy was gone and the war was lost, he gathered around 1,000 of his people, men, women, and children, and set out in the dead of winter on a brutal march clean across Ireland to find safety in the north. They were ambushed, frozen, and starved the whole way. Of the 1,000 who set out, only 35 reached the end alive. 35. It's one of the most harrowing survival stories in Irish history, a king's people walking through the snow with an empire at their back, refusing to surrender the bloodline. If your name is O'Sullivan, your people are the lords of the Southwest who chose the frozen road over the bended knee. Number 2. O'Rourke. From O'Ruairc, the kings of Bryfni, the royal house of what's now Leitrim and Cavan. And the O'Rourkes are wired straight into the most fateful story on this list. Remember Diarmait MacMurrough at number 7, the king who brought in the Normans. The spark that set the whole thing alight was MacMurrough running off with the wife of an O'Rourke king, Derver Gilla, back in 1152. That insult to the King of Bryfne lit a feud that ended with MacMurrough exiled and the Normans invited in to get his throne back. And here's the closing of the circle. When O'Sullivan Bear and his 35 survivors finished that death march across Ireland, the castle they were marching to, the safe haven at the end of the snow, belonged to the O'Rourkes. This family is woven through the beginning and the end of the fall of Gaelic Ireland. If your name is O'Rourke, your blood comes from the kings of Bryfne, right at the heart of the most consequential story in Ireland's history. And now, number 1. This name belongs to the only man on this list who can truly be called the High King of Ireland in full, the one who actually united the island under a single crown, broke the power of the Vikings, and died at the moment of his greatest victory. Number 1. O'Brien, from O'Brien, descendant of Brian. And the Brian is Brian Boru. He was born into the Dál ga Cais, a minor royal tribe in Clare, not one of the great established dynasties, and he fought his way up from almost nothing. He made himself King of Munster, taking the throne the McCarthys had held. Then he broke the centuries-long grip the Uí Néill had held on the High Kingship and made himself Ard Rí na hÉireann, High King of Ireland, the first man in a very long time to genuinely unite the island under one rule. In 1014, at the Battle of Clontarf, his forces shattered the Viking power in Ireland for good. But Brian himself, an old man by then, was killed in his tent in the very hour of victory. His descendants took his name, O'Brien, and ranked among the chief royal dynasties of Ireland for 500 years more, and his harp became the national emblem of Ireland. It's on the coins. It's on the official seal of the state. If your name is O'Brien, your blood comes from the single greatest High King Ireland ever produced, the man who united the island and died saving it, and his symbol is stamped on the country to this very day. 10 names, 10 royal houses, the High Kings and the great dynasties of Tara, Cashel, Connaught, Leinster, Munster, and the North. And every one of those royal lines was broken in the same way, by the Tudor conquest, by the 9 Years' War, and finally in 1607, when the last Gaelic earls, the O'Neill and the O'Donnell at the head of them, sailed away from Ireland forever in the moment they still call the Flight of the Earls. That was the end of Royal Gaelic Ireland. The kings were gone. But the blood wasn't. It scattered into the famine ships, into Boston and Sydney and Liverpool, into millions of people who carry a king's name today and were never told what it meant. Your name isn't just a name. It's a dynasty. It's a kingdom. It's a crown that was taken, but never quite erased, carried out of Ireland in the blood of people who had nothing left but the name itself. They broke the kingdoms. They couldn't break the bloodline. So drop your surname in the comments and tell me which king your blood comes from. And if you know the real story, the county, the castle, the ship your people left on, tell that too, because those stories die when nobody says them. Subscribe to Blame Your Ancestors. Every week we go deeper into the names people carry without ever knowing what they survived. The next bloodline's already waiting.